Somehow Shaitan grabs you by the hook. He gives you an Instagram girl in front of your eyes. He puts a hijabi showing her beauty in front of your eyes. And all of a sudden, you start feeling their urge. You tell yourself, nah, it's all good, I'm gonna be all fine. But slowly, deep down in your head, you're getting their urge. Now the motivation starts to urge it. Now you start to fight your urges. But what happens? You go on Instagram, you see this girl, you start scrolling more and more and more, each picture getting worse and worse and worse. It goes from being fully covered to being less and less and less covered, until now you're on incognito mode. Time passed by, you don't even know what's happening, your internal dialogue is no longer available, you're in this world and you have escaped reality. Now it's you, alone, in the dark. You keep overthinking yourself. Do I do this? Do I not? The little voice in your head is screaming at you. Please, Mahi, don't do it. Don't do this. We told ourselves we're not gonna do it. But the urge keeps growing stronger and stronger until now you're on page 50 of a haram website. I know Muslim men directly, one-to-one, that messaged me on Discord and they told me they're going through suicidal thoughts because they were addicted to pee and they kept relapsing and they were going through, again, as I mentioned, suicidal thoughts. Now sometimes we don't deep how deep this is. We don't deep the fact that there are men who are thinking of giving up on life because of this habit. This is actively destroying and putting a big dent in the ummah. Again, bro, I'm not perfect. I'm not coming to say I'm not some alim, I'm not some sheikh. I'm not coming here to act like we're all free from this. But this is one of the biggest reasons why the marriage rates are going down, the divorce rates are going up. This is one of the biggest reasons why our men have gotten weak and the feminism movement is inflicting our sisters. This is one of the biggest reasons why we have no high aspirations anymore. Have you realized, and you might be one of the few people in your family right now that is thinking about, I want to really change. I want to become the best version of myself. Everyone else around me is kind of, and not in an arrogant way, but you're just thinking like everyone else around me is just, they don't want to change. They don't want to improve. They don't want to have high aspiration. And this is one of the biggest reasons why, because this is keeping us down in a level of comfort that we have never ever experienced in human history. We've never experienced this level of comfort. And comfort is the killer of a man. Comfort is what literally kills us. This morning I had the choice of sleeping in because I've been getting such bad sleep. I came home yesterday very late after meeting Ustad Tim Humble, alhamdulillah, may Allah bless him, hafidullah. And I could have just slept in today. But I'm like, I can't keep that comfort going. And so in that way, how can we stop a widespread of pee? How can we stop the Muslim men from experiencing and going through this? Because this is one of the biggest and the main ways we can turn the tides and bring back the ummah as it used to be back in the golden days, back in the time of the Salaf, back in the time of the 3 best generations, back in the time where Muslims were conquering lands. Do you not deep down want to do that? Because I want to do that. Sure, we're really scared and we're really, let's just say, scaredy cats for lack of better words, deep down inside. But I would rather have that desire to go and conquer, just like how the Sahaba were. And I'm sure you want to do that. But we can't do that. We can't get Islam to the forefront. We can't get Islam as an elite of the world until we start to tackle these problems. Because this is eating away at the Muslim men, especially Muslim men. It's probably affecting the sisters as well, but the Muslim men especially. Because of this are the loneliest they've ever been in their lives, the most depressed and lazy they've ever been in their lives, the least purposeful they've ever been in their lives, and the worst part, the most far away from Allah they've ever been in their lives. Because they think, I'm not worthy of being forgiven by Allah. Because this is a habit that once you start, you do it again and again and again and again and again. I want to change. I want you to change. I want all the Muslims to change. I want all the Muslims to conquer. I want all the Muslims to live in their fullest, biggest potential. Because that's what's going to bring the biggest potential of the ummah. I want Muslims to be happy and purposeful again. So before you start doing something, before you download a blocker, before you do this, it's not going to work. And this is something that I had to realize, which is no matter how many P blockers you download, no matter how many ways you try to stop it, you can't. The only way you can do those things is if you would fix the main thing at the beginning. You see, if you gave someone who's like a little bit big, a little bit fat, right? He's kind of like, Now, if you told him and you removed all of his food, like you just removed his whatever food. I don't know what he eats, bro. Like McDonald's, KFC, a'udhu billah, like all of these disgusting foods, right? Let's say he had it in his fridge and you remove all of them and you replace it with salad. Technically, you've blocked it, right? You've blocked the food. But the thing is, what he's gonna do is he's gonna go out of his house, go into his car and drive to the nearest drive-through of McDonald's again, because he hasn't changed his internal state of being. Everything, and I think this is almost on everything, but everything comes from mindset. How you view something and what's your belief about that thing. Despite he knows that he needs to lose weight, but let's just say that he hasn't made that change yet, and you remove all of his food from his fridge. He's not gonna start eating those vegetables. He's just gonna go in his car and go to the nearest McDonald's again, because he hasn't changed his internal state of being. He didn't choose to accept the fact that I need to change. So the main thing that we need to do is we need to face the pain head on. Face the reality head on. A lot of us live with delusion. A lot of us don't like to face the pain head on. But the issue is that you can never fix a problem until you face the pain head on. Until you just do it. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him to go out into the streets of the Quraysh, the streets of Mecca, and to give da'wah, that's painful. Imagine the mental state that he was in. I mean, he was gonna go against his entire tribe. He was going to go against his family. He was going to go against the status quo. And what happened? He had to face the pain head on. He had to face the pain for 10 long years in Mecca. But what happened after? The Muslims started to conquer. Slowly and but surely, the Muslims started to win battles. Slowly but surely, we took over Mecca. You have to face the pain head on. So how do you face the pain? The way you face the pain is by accepting the fact that you are running away and that you need to just sit through it. Let me explain. There is a term called urge surfing. You have to understand the fact that when the urge comes for pee, when something comes up, and you start feeling that motivation, right? You need to surf on this. You need to face the pain head on. And you need to make the decision right now. I am not someone who watches pee. I hold my standards to a higher level. So you need to set your internal state of being, right? It's almost like a mindset thing. Like you need to sit down with yourself right now and just say, I am someone who doesn't watch pee because I hold myself to a higher standard. I'm a mu'min. I'm a believer. I'm a strong believer. I'm a Muslim who's disciplined. I'm a Muslim who wants to achieve big in life. I don't want to be a low down loser. You need to set yourself that idea, that mindset into your head. Otherwise, I'm sorry, if you keep thinking you're a loser, there's a very big chance that you might not quit pee. If you continuously try to identify yourself, oh no, I keep falling down. Oh no, I'm still watching pee. Well, you're gonna stay like that because you're making yourself vulnerable. If a professional football player has a bad game, sure, he has a bad game, that's a part of life. Sure, he fell down and got injured, that's a part of life. Now, does that mean that he's gonna give up? Does that mean that now he's gonna be like, oh no, one bad game, I'm gonna stop playing. I'm gonna stop playing professional football. I'm gonna go like wash dishes in restaurants. No, he's not gonna do that. He's gonna be like, okay, I probably made a mistake. Let's face the pain head on. Let's make sure that we don't lose next time. So if you right now are running away because you're thinking, I keep watching this pee, I keep falling into my urges, right? You're thinking like that, right? And fair enough. Of course, this is very addicting. You need to just face the pain head on in a way where you're like, I can't keep running away. I can't keep falling into my desires. How many more times can you do that until Malik al-Maut comes? That's number one. Or until something bad happens to you. And this is the issue with human beings, is that we typically we're so selfish. We destroy and self-sabotage ourselves. And I'm not perfect. No one's perfect. I'm just saying, but we sabotage ourselves until something really bad happens to us, and then we change. Why not change before that happens? Why not save yourself from this? Maybe Allah is trying to tell you something. Maybe don't give in. This time, you have to just face the urge head on. So urge surfing is pretty much, you're not going to fight the urge. Because the moment you fight the urge, that's the issue. That's where the issues begin. Because, okay, you're getting an urge, but you're like, no, I don't want to watch pee anymore. And I'm going to just focus on going to the gym. Like, the thing is, you're fighting the urge. The idea is you sit through the urge. You accept the urge. You don't do anything for 10 minutes and you just focus. Like, you don't try to ignore the urge because that's you. Like, again, you're trying to fight it, but just sit through it. I know this is the hardest thing, but I'm telling you from personal experience, this is how you stop, because this is what you call the waswas of shaitan. The moments, and this is what Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah said in his book Ad-Dawa Ad-Dawa. the moment you try to fight the waswas of shaitan, it grows bigger. It gets stronger. Those whispers start to become screaming. Why? You have to understand. It's called waswas for a reason. It's called whispering for a reason. Allah has made the shayateen to only whisper. Why? Because they're weak and all they can do is just whisper. They can't scream. They can't make you do anything. They can just whisper into your heart, and it depends how strong you are in your heart, in your iman, in your discipline. You either fall on it, and sometimes we fall, but I'm talking about on a consistent basis. It's called waswas for a reason. If you went to the army right now and you're doing some really hard workout and your army instructor is screaming at everyone, typically they scream like, oh, you're not enough, who's gonna carry the boats, right? All of that stuff, right? Now imagine if the army instructor was whispering the entire time. Do you think you're gonna get motivated? Do you think you're gonna do that? Do you think you're gonna take him seriously? Like, imagine your army instructor's like, yeah, work harder. Imagine, like, who's gonna carry the boats? You're gonna be like, what is this guy on about? He's not an instructor, bro. This guy's just whispering. This guy has no power. The same way as shaitan, as waswas of shaitan, there's no power there. It's you are giving it more power because you're identifying with it. Now, number one. Number two, you're trying to run away from it, which means that you're like, it's like, just act like it's just waswas. Act like it's waves in the ocean. As waves go up and down, at the end of the day, they're gonna all crash at the shore of the beach. They're all gonna crash. Same thing with urges. Urges don't last that long. It just face the pain. Be like, okay, face the pain, sit through this urge, accept the urge, and watch it happen. So next time you're doing your work, and then you get an urge, accept it. It's coming. Okay. Sit through it. Don't give in. Don't go on this website. Sit through it. Because you're someone who doesn't watch P. Remember, you said that to yourself before. You're someone who doesn't watch P. You're someone who holds your standards higher. You're someone who wants to become a better Muslim, a strong Muslim. So you're like, okay, let's sit through the urge. Because the more and more you train yourself to sit through the urge, alhamdulillah, you're going to be in a way better place, inshallah ta'ala. Because you have to understand that it's not a one-time thing. I've never personally seen someone or saw someone quit P at one go. I don't know if it's possible. I think it is possible. But I just never saw someone or heard a story where someone quit P just at one go. Typically, based off personal experience and others, it's a continuous cycle that you have to keep going and keep doing until at one point you just don't watch it anymore. This is what I've noticed, which was, okay, you start off for the first few months, it's hard. It seems like you're not making any progress. But then 4 months later, you've watched a lot less P than you used to. And then a couple months later, you watch even less. You have to give it time. You have to slowly do it. In terms of, you know that it's not instant. You know that's not gonna happen right away. And this is the issue, is that one thing we should feel regretful for sinning. We should feel regretful for sinning. We should make repentance to Allah Azza wa Jal, of course. What I'm talking about is we shouldn't dumb ourselves down because we watched or we relapsed. We shouldn't get hopeless because we relapsed, because it's a long-term basis. Slowly and slowly, you'll just stop watching it. But you have to give yourself patience. You have to give yourself time. As you've made so much progress already for the fact that you're watching this video right now. Because most people that are struggling with this are not, because they just accepted that for themselves. But you want to change it. You want to get better. And may Allah bless you for that. Wallahi, may Allah bless you for that. You are looking for change. But that doesn't mean that you get hopeless. Okay, I relapsed. I sinned. This is going to go on the day of judgment. I'm going to get accounted for this. I'm going to make repentance and ask Allah to remove this from his hisab, to remove this from the accountability. And what I'm going to do is, okay, I made this mistake, but I know this is just one stepping stone to me stopping it in 7 months from now. So we're all good. Let's go. Next time, let's go. But the idea is, every time you do that, you want to have the mindset of, I left it completely. Because you need to have that identity. So you need to be like, I'm someone who doesn't watch P. But if I did somehow watch it, okay, we're gonna go back to the main. Let's go. I'm not gonna watch it anymore. You need to have the mindset of like urge surfing. So give yourself time, but also face the pain head on. Don't run away from yourself anymore. Don't watch another haram video anymore. Because that's just you running away from the pains and the acceptance that you need to feel. Don't run away and go into the comfort. Stay with yourself. Stay within the pain. Feel that urge and embrace that urge. Next, after you've fixed your mindset and your identity and who you are as a person, then you can fix the other things around you. A part of identity is your environment, such as who you watch, and what you have access to every single day on a daily basis. This is why in the book Atomic Habits, one thing that really helped me was the 4 steps to breaking bad habits, or the 4 steps to bad habits in general, which is the cue, which is the craving, which is the response, and the reward. I think you might have heard of this, but Q is pretty much the thing you see. It's pretty much that one really beautiful hijabi that randomly comes in your algorithm and then it gets you in the zone. It's that one half naked girl that comes in your ad. It's that one random person that just gets you in the door. And the moment the Q is activated, if your mind is not strong, there's a good chance that you're gonna, just from that one Q that you saw, there's a good chance that you're gonna go relapse. Allahu A'lam, of course. You need to stop putting yourself out there. As Imran ibn Mansur, Hafidullah, may Allah bless him, he said himself that the eyes and the ears are the gateway to the heart. Whatever you see goes into your heart. Whatever you hear goes into your heart and your mind. Your eyes and the ears are the gateway to your heart. What are you seeing every single day? Are you really wasting your time on TikTok doing absolutely nothing? And why do you even deserve to quit P? You need to get in the zone of, okay, I gotta do something with my life. I gotta lock in, or I gotta work on something, or even do good in school. I gotta get my habits straight. I have to wake up early. Focus on developing and improving yourself at the same time. That's Q. When you don't, like, remove those things from you. Why are you on TikTok? You got stuff to do, brother. Why are you on Instagram? Okay, we have lots to achieve. Even if you're on Instagram, unfollow those girls. Don't give yourself an option. Delete it from your phone and use Instagram only on your browser on the laptop. That's what I do. I only use it for DMs. And what I do is I have like a Instagram blocker, which pretty much blocks the reels, it blocks the feeds, it blocks everything. It only shows me my messages. So this is the one that I use. It's called IG Plus, and it's pretty much hides Instagram reels, the explore page, and pretty much all of Instagram, and you can just use it just to use for messaging. So it's a really good app. You can get it for free on Chrome extension. No, I'm not sponsored, but I'm literally giving you what I use. You need to go to the Chrome web store and just search up IG Blocker, and you'll probably see a bunch of these. Just choose one that works for you best. But the Q isn't enough, because let's say you do come across a girl and then now it gets in the zone, then it's a craving. The craving is like the motivational, you're motivated to do this habit now. You're like, okay, I want to feel good. I want to get comfort. I want this feeling of P. Like, I want to watch it. This is the motivation behind it. In this moment, it's like do or die at this point, because now you're getting motivated. What you need to do is you need to make it as hard as possible for you to go watch it. Make it as hard as possible for you to go watch this thing right now. For example, you want to have a blocker that is hard to remove. Maybe you get rid of your phone. That's the best way. But I know most people won't do that. I didn't do that as well. I'm going to be honest. Or you want to just make it as hard as possible for you to not do it. You want to, give your phone to your mother, or you want to put it in a box. You want to, you want to have a lock. So at a certain time, you want to have blockers that blocks haram websites. You want to have blockers that even blocks Instagram. You just want to make it as hard as possible for you to stop doing it. Because the way our brains work is we're sort of naturally really lazy sometimes. And so what we tend to do is that if it's really hard to do, we just kind of give up on it. So if you make P really hard to do, as long as you implemented the other things I mentioned earlier in the video, inshallah, it's going to get better and better and better. But you have to make the step for yourself. There's so many apps for you to block stuff, but the only app that makes me just truly block it, it's called ScreenZen. I am again not sponsored by this app, but this app is actually very good because it literally blocks everything that you wanted to block. It blocks haram videos, and every time you want to unblock it because you have an urge, you can't. You have to wait like 10,000 seconds or even 11,000 seconds, which is so long. That's around 3 hours. So your phone literally becomes almost impossible. Even if you go watch in another way, your phone is just gonna get less and less and less attractive, and you're gonna use your phone less and less and less in order to watch P, and you're gonna find other ways. So what you have to do is you have to block stuff in other ways as well. And what you want to do is pretty much lower the effect, lower the feeling of pleasure, and soon enough you'll leave it off, inshallah ta'ala. Because the response and the reward is, let's just say, very hard, because response is you doing the actual habit itself. And some days maybe you might be able to snap yourself out of it and like, okay, what am I doing? A lot of the days you're just in the zone of watching P and you just can't escape it. So at this point you want to make it just difficult, man. Like, you just want to make it as difficult as possible. You want to make it unattractive, and just accept it and take the pain and move away and walk away and don't look back. Sometimes you're like, just one more time, it's okay, it feels so good. Just leave it behind and just don't look back and just walk the other path. Even though how much it hurts, walk the other path. You have to realize pain is not your enemy. I remember a sheikh was telling all of us in a halaqah, in a masjid, and he was saying that pain is not the enemy. Because in order to make a necessary step, you need to face pain. Why do you need to face pain? Because you're literally destroying this version of yourself that exists right now. The version of myself that didn't want to wake up this morning and he wanted to sleep in. It was really hard for me to wake up. It was painful for me to wake up. But I have to make the necessary steps so that version of myself never exists anymore. The version of myself that used to eat so many junk food. I had to stop and face the pain and leave that life behind, even though that life was comforting. Why? Because that's how it works. That's how it works. You need to face the pain but pain is not your enemy. Pain is a necessary step and it's supposed to happen. When you go to the gym and you're putting your muscles up and you feel painful, it's painful, right? But what happens 6 months later? Your muscles are so much bigger. But you need to go through that pain. The same way, when you change yourself mentally, it's gonna hurt. And it's going to sting. And it's going to feel like you made a mistake. Only 6 months later, you're like, that's the best thing Wallahi, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, that's the best thing I've ever done in my life. But you need to sit there and accept that it's gonna be hurtful. It's gonna be painful. Allah says in the Quran, indeed, we created humankind in hardship. We're supposed to work hard. If we didn't work hard, then what's the point of Jannatul Firdaus? What's the point of Jannah? Jannah is the place where we hang out and relax and have the time of our lives only if we deserve of going there through Allah's mercy. This place is a place to grind, lock in and work so you can leave this earth knowing that you put your all in the dunya and in the akhirah and for your family and everything. And inshallah, I hope and pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that the Muslim men, me, you, and all of our brethren, all of our ikhwan around us, our brothers around us, we start to grow and we start to become the best versions of ourselves like we truly deep down want to be. I'm going to leave you here. May Allah bless you. May Allah protect you, akhi. And inshallah, I'm looking forward to seeing you at the top, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. I love you. Bye.